Well, good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, Madam President, and other members of council. It is my pleasure to be before you today to provide an overview of the 2013 city budget and to begin the dialogue between our administration and the legislative body on budget issues for the new year. In January, our administration assumed office with a number of significant challenges that needed our attention. We needed to make a decision on the future of Roberts Stadium. I'm pleased with the progress we're making there. Our recently completed auction of our assets there grossed about $246,000. The raising of that building should begin sometime this fall and take several months to complete. There were several incomplete downtown projects, including the new convention hotel. I'm pleased we have 5 development teams that have presented their qualifications to the Redevelopment Commission for consideration. Requests for proposals will go out sometime in August, and we hope to have specific proposals back from those companies sometime in October. The city had no labor agreement at the start of the year with firefighters. We got to the bargaining table quickly and reached a 2012 contract between the city and the firefighters. We will sit down in late August to begin formal negotiations for 2013 and beyond. As a side note, I'm very happy to report, you may have read this in the paper, but we have already reached a new 3-year agreement with the FOP beginning in 2013. We've had some very preliminary talks with the Teamsters. We plan to sit down with those folks after the firefighter talks are complete. Also this year, our computer conversion to the new financial software that began in 2010 did not go nearly as well as planned. We continue to work with the State Board of Accounts on a daily basis to resolve issues relating to the 2011 audit. We're addressing those problems and more, those issues and more, as we prepared this year's budget. Our administration has proposed a balanced, conservative 2013 budget with the following goals. Hold the line on property tax levy increases, improve the city's financial stability and maintain our current strong AA- bond rating, increase financial transparency for our citizens. In fact, many of you have asked, and we had trouble finding sometimes, the budget, the salary line item for the CIO. We found it. It was buried in the water and sewer utility budget. We have moved it to the finance area of the local option income back budget, so I think it'd be a lot easier to find. We propose fully funding the local homestead tax credit in 2013. You've already voted on that in the affirmative. In addition, for city taxpayers, the state property tax caps will save them $4.5 million in 2012, and we project a similar or increased property tax savings in 2013. As you recall, we refinanced the Parks District bond issue early this year. At that time, in regards to the City of Evansville's bond rating, Standard & Poor's, national agency that rated our bond, said, and I quote, the AA- rating reflects an overall strong financial position with multiple funds providing unrestricted cash reserves available to support operations. We're also proud to present city budget information in a summarized, easy to read format. We've included the 4-page citizen budget with pie charts so you can see where categories of revenue and expenses lie. I know Dr. Adams has been a big proponent of this, and I hope you appreciate the effort we're making here. We see this definitely as a work in progress, and I suspect there will be some changes, but we think it's something very easy to understand, and we've actually had a lot of fun kind of putting that together. Again, the administration aims with this budget to restore some capital expenditures that were cut in prior years. Specifically, we've increased spending on vehicles and equipment for public safety. We've increased the budget for paving. We're continuing the sidewalk infrastructure improvement program, and on a side note, City Engineer Pat Keepus has a final draft of the sidewalk improvement plan that we previously allocated new money from, $500,000 from the local option income tax refund from the state. That draft is finally been finalized. I appreciate all the input we got from members of City Council. That plan will be finalized and approved in short order. Our goal with that plan is to make sure we have projects in all parts of our city. And we'll continue to combat blight by allocating money to tear down condemned properties in the city. As you can see, our 2013 budget spends $252 million in total. This is a balanced budget. For revenues, on the revenue side, the prior annexations are now fully phased in and have increased tax revenues by over $3 million annually. On the expense side, the 3% employee salary increase will cost the city $1.8 million in wages and benefits. Our health insurance is going up 8.7% or $1.6 million. And we've increased the bond payments this year. The bond payments for the Ford Center go from $2.7 million this year to $8 million this year. These are the three largest drivers of our expense increase for the new year. Let me offer just a few comments about the capital improvement budget. This year totals equals $35.7 million. That's up from $31 million this year. The reason that it's higher is because we have included in the capital budget this year the payment for the Ford Center bond. It was previously in the downtown TIF. We've moved it to the CIP, so that is the reason. And again, that's an $8 million expense that was previously not in the CIP. So that's the reason it's up about $4 million. One of our administration's goals is to enhance public safety. In prior years, it's my opinion the city did not buy nearly enough police vehicles. This year, we're leasing 30 new police cars, and in 2013, we proposed purchasing 14 additional cars. These 44 new police cars will go a long way to revitalizing our fleet. On the fire department side, another one of our public safety goals is to increase safety there. The fire truck that's known as Quint 8 has a long-term maintenance history. Everyone seems to know that around the city. It's out of service on a frequent basis. We're hoping to replace that. Its price tag is about $870,000. We've applied for a FEMA grant. We hope to hear its status by the end of September. We're also planning to replace radios and specialty hazmat and dive equipment. In 2012, we used $375,000 from our local income tax windfall to repair the most neglected fire stations in the city, 6 of them in fact, and we'll continue to upgrade fire stations throughout the city. For our Parks Department, we've added $500,000 for the planning and initial development of Roberts Park. We've included $40,000 for planning. You might notice, I remember that I talked about the Parks bond refinancing that we did earlier in the year, saving the city $841,000. We've also included the Parks bond in the CIP. Again, something that has not been done in prior years. We're also including $150,000 for the Pigeon Creek Greenway. That's for the Arts District, Linwood, High Rail, and Urban Enterprise corridors of that Greenway. That represents about a 4-mile extension of the Greenway. We have $1.4 million in federal funding that is ready to be spent. This $150,000 represents our match to that, and the design for that piece of the Greenway should be complete sometime or by the end of 2013. Also, a capital budget, we've requested $2 million for road paving and improvements. That's a $200,000 increase over this year. We're continuing to allocate riverboat money to fund demolition of substandard housing. And again, we're earmarking $500,000 for Roberts Park, $900,000 for Messer Park Zoo and Botanic Garden, which includes $500,000 for the initial planning of a new African exhibit there. As you can see, the 2013 budget spends is $252 million. Again, it's a balanced budget. Again, the prior annexations fully phased in now and represent about $3 million in new revenue to the city. And again, on the expense side, the 3% pay raise to all full-time city employees, about $1.8 million in incremental cost to the city in wages and benefits, the increased cost of insurance of another $1.6 million, and the increased payments to the Ford Center bond goes from $2.7 million this year to $8 million next year. Again, those are the big drivers of the expenses. We've added $40,000 to the park maintenance budget for 2 additional clean teams, which we think are important. In our town hall meetings and listening to citizens, we hear week in and week out the upkeep and maintenance of the city parks is a continuous concern. We appreciate that input, and we have made changes in the Parks Department operating budget to address those concerns. The current clean team is making a difference, And we need to up the ante in this regard. And we think by appropriating more money toward that project, toward that effort, we will make additional inroads there. Here's a summary of our 2013 proposed budget on the revenue side. It totals $266 million. Taxes totaling $130 million make up 39% of this. This includes property taxes, local income taxes, smaller miscellaneous taxes such as wheel taxes, financial institutions, motor vehicle taxes, license, cigarettes tax, etc. The water and sewer utility is a large enterprise that receives over $66 million in revenue. Other city government revenues come from federal and state resources, other governments such as Vanderbilt County and joint departments, and the riverboat lease payments and tax receipts. The 2013 proposed budget on the expenditure side, again, $252 million. The largest category of expense is in public safety, roughly 30%. The next highest category is the water and sewer utility that spends $56 million with an additional $10 million in debt payments. Our city government expenses include $45 million for administration, 10% or $25 million for public works, almost $12 million for the park system and Messer Zoo. The total city and utility debt payments this year represent $29 million. As mentioned, part of the increase from 12, I said that. Again, that's a high-level view of the 2013 budget. I hope you appreciate the different format we provided the big budget in and the short, sort of more user-friendly version. We hope to post that online, and as it evolves, we'll continue to change it online. Again, I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. As I mentioned at the outset, I see this as the first step in a dialogue between your body and our administration on how best to spend our city's money in the coming years.